What's up? Hello. We're a little live. We're a little live, a little today. Hey, excellent connection. I'm not going to be live for too long. Honestly, originally, I think I said in the Discord something like 3 hours. It's also, I don't know if you can hear the TV in the living room. If you can, I'll turn off or I'll shut the door. I might just do that preemptively. One sec. All right, we're back. But yeah, I was originally going to go live earlier, do a little bit of a longer stream, but we've got some shit for Dragon Week, bro. I was researching today for Dragon Week, and I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole, I will say. So I and like the most of the reason I wanted to I even wanted to go live was basically just to test out OBS, make sure it all still works, nothing broke somehow while I wasn't streaming for a week. What's up, Daniel? Hello. But yeah, my tongue is feeling way better. It's still like things are a little bit there, but they are like 98% better. So much better compared to how they were. I'm very glad I did not try to push it, because every time I delayed it, it was like the next day it got worse. So it wound up, I think, being wise, but still was annoying. Annoying as hell. But yeah, I'm very confident about Wednesday, though. I think Wednesday will be good, and I'm psyched for it. And so I think today, the kind of main thing I want to accomplish, other than proving that everything still works, other than that, is just to fill out kind of the Thordak article, because I have an article for Thordak. He's here, he's chilling. But it's like most of the others, it is sparse, or not sparse, but it's not very formatted. So I want to kind of go through, do the full formatting on Thordak, however long that takes, and that'll be the stream. And maybe we'll have another one before Wednesday. I'm not sure. It's really gonna depend. I've got 2 interviews tomorrow for Dragon Week, and then 2 more later in the week. So it's going to depend on how those go, on how long they are, how much editing needs to be done. Because Dragon Week's all due by the 21st-ish. So need to be very, very sure that it's all done by then. Yeah. Hit me with your best shot. You would have streamed then for background sounds. Yeah. I get you. Yeah. I was going to. I don't even know if I can say. Oh, actually, I can say the system. Yeah, because that's not who I'm interviewing. I'm interviewing somebody who shall not be named about BRP, the basic role-playing universal game engine, which I had not actually heard of. I'm not a BRP TTRPG. There we go. Basic role-playing. Yeah, because I'm not like overly familiar with, frankly, a lot of alternate TTRPGs. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing the Dragon Week project that I'm doing, which I've been intentionally vague about, but it's centered around non D&D TTRPGs, and this is it's a cool one. It's very it's very Powered by the Apocalypse, GURPS, that sort of shtick, but it has some pretty distinct differences. It's made by Chaosium, the people that do Call of Cthulhu. So yeah. And, a million other things. Chaosium is fucking prolific. But yeah, so that's kind of the rabbit hole I fell down, was researching BRP and like watching interviews about it, because I want to be, as knowledgeable as I can going into the interview. And it's a wild system, and I'm interviewing the person about that tomorrow, so I need to like wrap up my rabbit holes, come to conclusions in my research. Because right now it's just a lot of, whoa, look at that. Whoa, look at that. Wait, this person said that? Oh, listen to what the designer said. What do you think about that, interviewee? Like, so yeah, I need to wrap that up tonight. But we're gonna do Thordak first. What up, Aura? Hello. I've never heard of BRP, but given the name, it sounds like it fills a similar niche to Cortex, which was/is my baby. Cortex? I have not heard of Cortex. Cortex TTRPG. Cortex TTRPG, Direwolf Digital. Choose the genre, build the game, forge the story from modular rule mechanics. Yeah. Very similar. Very, very similar. It's a lot of, there's a lot of that sort of thing. Like there's a, the thing that was immediately like, oh yeah, man, like this is crazy. Modular and like very, it's not only giving like because I'm familiar with Powered by the Apocalypse because of Blades in the Dark. That's they're related systems. But I'm not super familiar with like a Cortex or GURPS. I know like GURPS in general, but not in detail. And reading over BRP, the thing that I was like first struck with. Do I have the SRD still? Wait 1 second. I was just reading through the SRD, and I'll show you like the thing that was very much like, oh, like this is totally different. Where is it? Skills. Yeah, this is the one that I was like, whoa. So they have all of these different skills that they immediately are like, if desired, the game master should modify the skill list to make it more appropriate to any given setting. Because they have things like not missile weapons, but what was it? I think it was like driving, I believe. Drive, piloting a ground vehicle. Each type of vehicle, automobile, cart, chariot, truck, is a specialty. There's also like energy weapons, and you can kind of wiggle some of those into different genres, but they're like, first of all, they're just like, customize the skill list to your setting, which I was me like, whoa. And then the other thing is that each skill has like this baseline chance. So it's basically like just at base within the rules, navigating has a 10% chance of succeeding in stressful situations. 10% for everyone, no matter what. And then you can add more to that. But they are also like, where is it? Most mundane. Where was it? All skills. Oh yeah, skill-based chances may be adjusted by the game master based on setting. And how that was just very immediately like, okay, that when they say modular, that is not just you can remove or add rules, because that's kind of how it was in my head, was like you can move or modify rules, or remove or modify rules. But this is like you can modify like base level statistics and mechanics, and like you can play with the numbers to zhuzh it into your chosen setting, and that is all accounted for. Like the fact that you might do that is all accounted for, because you could theoretically do something like that by, in say D&D 5e, you could say, oh, because of this setting, everyone has a +1 to animal handling, but that is not accounted for in the rest of the mechanics. That's, that home rule is fine, but D&D is not expecting you to do that. So yeah, I don't know. I like I said, a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'm excited for the interview. I'm very, very excited. Anyways, so the problem I have with alternatives to D&D. Oh, tell me about it. I mean, because yeah, that's what I am doing. The entire Dragon Week video will focus on TTRPGs that are not D&D. So I'm very. If I can answer this question in the video, I would love, or this problem, I guess, I would love to, or not answer it maybe, but address it. Is most use more basic dice, which I guess makes it more accessible, but I really like my shiny dice and want to use all of them. Fair enough. It sounds like you have a problem with D6 systems. So like one of the systems I'm looking at is Memento Mori, which is D6, Blades in the Dark, D6. I will say BRP, the one that we were just looking at, is full polyhedrals. And the basic, quote unquote, like if you think about the D20, like the basic D&D die, the basic die for BRP is the percentile. It's the 210s. I wanted to scoot in a little bit, but I didn't want to run over the dog that's laying there. And BRP uses the full polyhedral set. So yeah. There's quite a few full polyhedrals out there. I think probably a lot of the really, or I don't want to say really popular ones, but I think several of the ones that have kind of broken out in terms of like media attention / popularity are Powered by the Apocalypse. Maybe not clones, but Powered by the Apocalypse likes, or derivatives. And oh Jesus, I was just focusing to snooze any notifications, and then it did that whole thing. So and Powered by the Apocalypse is a D6 system, to my knowledge, to my understanding. So I think that's probably where that comes from. But a lot of like I was looking into another one. I think it's Dread TTRPG. I'm not interviewing anyone about this, but it came up in another interview that I was doing. Dread is a system that uses a Jenga tower rather than dice. It was a Jenga tower. And there was another one. Oh, what was the other one? That also came up in a different interview. Oh, where is it? I put it on my task to look into because I was like, that's crazy. Look into, is it Skelly's or Not the End? Let's see. It's either, there's two. It's either Skelly's. No, it's not Skelly's. I think it's Not the End. Oh my God, it didn't even snooze the fucking Steam notice. Not the End. Yeah. Not the End uses a bag with colored tiles in it instead of dice. Period. I do not know that much more about it. But like at a base level, I can already see fuckloads of cool shit you can do with this sort of system. Even like if you want to go with a more like a more granular result approach, you could have more than 2 colors of tokens. So if this is, fail or success, you could have a third color that represents, success with a cost or some shit like that. So I thought that I was like, oh, this is so cool. So all that is to say, the D&D alternatives, non D&D TTRPGs, they got a lot out there that aren't just D6s. Although I guess using this is not going to solve your desire to use your pretty dice. But there are certainly plenty out there that do use the dice. Yeah. Anyways, which I know you put problem in quotations. It's a funny problem, but I'm so excited to talk about all of these and to kind of make the video. I'm super psyched. What is it? A very flexible system that is used to build IP games was used for Firefly Serenity. Yeah. Cool. This is now on my list. This is on my list now to see what it does better, worse. I look forward to the Dragon Week video. I'm psyched. I'm not gonna say, it might not answer all of your questions, but I'll be talking about BRP and Dragon Week. So fuck yeah. Yeah. It's actually awesome. I love percentiles. I love percentiles too. I think the D20 makes sense as a baseline die. Like, I think it has a lot of, I think 5% is a really good increment. I think 5% feels more substantial than 1%, which is, the increment that you have with percentile, without being too big. A la, something like a D6 or a D8. I think that 5% strikes a really nice balance between feeling substantial but not too substantial. So I get the D20, but I'm also a fan of percentiles, and because I think that additional granularity gives you a lot more flexibility on the design end. Which, makes it perfect for something like BRP, where it's trying to be as flexible as possible. Yeah. Mega's interviewing Chris Perkins. How does he do it? Hey, maybe Chris Perkins is on the horizon. I will say, I won't, I'm not naming any names. I'm not leaking. But I have some people for the Dragon Week video that are debatably on the level of Chris Perkins. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm psyched. Yeah. Excuse me, a Jenga tower. Obviously, that's not the most inclusive, but it's awesome enough to forgive that for sure. You know what's the best part about it? When the Jenga tower falls over, the character dies. Immediately. That's it. If you're the one that pulls the thing that makes the Jenga tower fall over, the character dies. That's all. And difficulty class is measured in how many pieces you have to pull. It's fucking awesome. That system rules. I really want to buy it and play it at like a party night, like get some people possibly into TTRPGs that way. It seems like a one-shot magnet. So every single roll is inherently a lethal roll. Yes, exactly, Daniel. Yep. That's part of the reason it's called Dread. Yeah. Giga Sundry has a great actual play of Dread. Whoa, look at that. Connections. Shit. I might have to watch that. Cortex amusingly uses all the polyhedrals except the 20. Honestly, BRP might as well. I actually, now that I think about it, I didn't really look. BRP might do that as well, yeah. But it's John Kilmer-Person, yeah. Anyways, enough about Dragon Week. Although the closer it gets, the more excited I'm going to get, and the more I'm going to talk about it, I guarantee. But Thordak. GNS had some awesome shows in the day. Sadly, none of them seem to have caught on enough to survive this long. It's tough. It's tough to stay relevant, you know? It's something I think about sometimes, especially with cries of like, you know, some formats are just evergreen. Some formats need to, or some shows need to change their format in order to survive. Some shows just can't survive, you know? Some shows that worked back then don't work now. You got to adapt to stay relevant, which I haven't had to probably deal with yet. Probably haven't. But anyways, let's see. Age. Okay, well, this is already. I'm gonna go with ancient, because we have no idea on age. How old is an ancient red dragon in D&D lore? Ancient dragon age range D&D. An ancient Forgotten Realms wiki. Ancient venerable 801 to 1000. Okay, that seems ancient. I'll be a little bit more generous with the timing. I'll go like 500 to 1200. You know, I have no idea if Matt's going off of the the actual age when he says it's an ancient dragon. I think he just wants the stat block. So I'm gonna be a little bit generous with the age. Species dragon, and we'll make a new article. Create and link that. Eyes dark blue squinty. I don't think we've actually. Well, actually, we've gotten a very recent description of the eyes. I think they're just like full red now. I'm just gonna go with red for now. Skin red. Red scales. Hair, I think NA. Yeah, just don't include it. Height, weight, no clue. Big. Fucking huge. Humongous. That's not how you spell that word. How do you spell humongous, actually? Humongous. Let's see. Large and in charge. Let's see. Sex male, I assume, I guess. And I don't think we need much else. Not a whole lot else related there. Affiliated organization is Chroma Conclave. And then religious belief, I don't think we have anything. Current location is Iman. Current vehicle, residence, conditions. I don't think it's worth creating a whole separate condition for what's going down with him. So I'm not gonna fill that in, because I would only want to make it if it was going to apply potentially to multiple beings, and I don't think it will, frankly. Let's see. Does have a supposed death date, which I will note, which was, what was it, Thor 400 years ago? Where is it? What did our good old Jamanza Ord say? Thordax chest, true tyrants, had Thorback get locked away to begin with, unknown teammate. I need to redo like all of this to make it more fucking readable. Let's see what he's been up to. Theories. Ooh, I don't think. Not but 6 hours ago. Okay, I don't actually think I have the Thordak history, I guess, in this article that Jaman gave us. So let's go see. I know I have it somewhere. It might be in an old article that I hadn't organized yet. So we'll have to see. But we'll go with figures of authority. Where's Jaman? Actually, Jamon might not be in Figures of Authority. He might be in People of Power. Zoop. Entities of Power. Yep, Jamon's Ord. There we go. Okay. Turns out is the dragon Devosa. Devosa. Oh, also not in here. So it must still be in a heretofore unorganized report. So let's go find where that is. Zoop. Even CR had some awesome shows that ended up going nowhere. Also, fuck Foster for giving us Undeadwood, then being of an asshole to have it taken away. Yeah. That's tough. That's very, very tough. Yeah, I mean that is the nature of, I was about to say online entertainment, but that's just the nature of entertainment, baby. Yeah. Let's see. Aha! This is exactly what I was looking for. Wow, it was the first one. Let's see. Unaware, the creature once known as Thordak. There we go. So that's in Cries 66? Yeah. Okay, Cries 66. Let's grab all this. More dangerous than these past struggles. Let's see. Let's see. And we'll make this a header. Oh my god, that's a huge header. No, thank you. I think we need triple. Yeah, I think that's the right size. Thordak. No, that's still a little bit big. One more for good measure. Thordak according to Jamon. Jamon. Yeah, why not? For now, I'm just trying to isolate the info at the moment, and then we'll get it nice and nice looking. Nice and organized, maybe would be the word. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. The creature once known as Thordak began to grow tired as mirrored to me in the Scald-Wind Sands. I don't know if we've heard anything. I don't know if we've heard that in specific. Let's see. Cries 66. I don't know if we've heard that specific place mentioned before. I mean, I have to assume it's in Marquette. Let's see. You can reach out with as many feral kobold armies. Okay, so still got those running around. Serpentine followers decide the very jewel of our city was perhaps a good throne to sit on. We struck down its armies. For 2 weeks there was a battle between the skies over here and the northern mountains before we took a fell strike against the beast. It escaped to the north, the archipelago area, attempted to flee beyond the ocean's waters. We caught up to it, struck it down, and watched it fall into the fathoms. If this is the same beast you say, then it is uncanny it can survive such an encounter, and I would say it is even more dangerous, having learned from these past struggles. Okay. So, I mean, there's this weird aspect to it that, you know, in my head, Jamon was much more insistent that no, it's definitely not the same creature, but he's actually not that dismissive of the idea. He's just like, man, if it is, if it is the same thing, that's not good. But where was he in the meantime is the question. A foolish drake threatened my domain. We cut his heart and watched him sink beneath the ocean. I do not think it is the same. So originally he says he doesn't think it's the same. And then he says, shit, maybe. Maybe it is. Thordak that came here was not quite as powerful as you seem to say this one is, which tracks. We know that the Heartstone is enlarging him. This was centuries ago. The city was but maybe 150 years at the time. Wait, what? They came to war here. How long ago was it? This was centuries ago. The city was but maybe 100, 150 years. Oh. That's a little different than I had been picturing this. Or just like, so he said centuries, I guess plural, for how long ago it all happened. But also, when he actually gives the years, he's talking about the age of, what's it called? Marquette. No, not Marquette. Ank'Harel. I'm gonna open up episode 66 and see if there's something there. Campaign 1, ep 66. Zoop.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay, let's see. What's up, Confused Strawberry? What's up? My mouth is good. Thank God. That is I said it a little earlier, but it's like that is a good deal of the reason I wanted to have this stream is to be like, hello, my mouth is good. I'm gonna do great. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, mouth's doing good. And the new strats that I have, I think kinda worked. Like a little? Hard to say. But I may or may not have made progress in getting some more consistently viable treatments. We'll see. Okay. So where the city is well protected. It is only if he will come here. If it is the dragon that you remember, he will come here. Wait, what? Oh wait, that's Taliesin speaking. Little noise. In my notes, I took this stuff between 20 and 11:22, so it's probably somewhere in here. I guess I could just go into the transcript and search the number 100. Show transcript. All right, 100. There we go. Let's see what they have to say.
It is an old dragon.
The Thordak that came to war here was not quite as large and powerful as you seem to say this one is.
How long ago was it?
This was centuries ago. The city was but maybe 100, 150 years at the time.
He could have grown by then?
Yes, I'm afraid we're not talking about a drake anymore. We're talking about an ancient...
Okay, so then Taliesin, with respect, you were here centuries ago. The creature known as Jamansa, or they steal their fingers. I have been here for some time, yes. Great. Does Jaman give anything else? Still narrow black eyes. They relax. How do you plan to fell this ever-burning worm? Okay, so he doesn't go even remotely more specific. Damn. Okay. So that's about as specific as we're going to get. Unless there was an estimate of when Marquette was built. But I don't think there was. So Jamon said that these events were centuries ago when Ank'Harel, just make sure I have it spelled right. No match found. Come on, there we go. Ank'Harel. When Ank'Harel was 100 or 150 years old. So if we were able to do the math, there's no way we have it here, right? No way we have it here. No, we do not. Shit. Well, okay. That's fine. So, you're reaching out with Pharaoh. Okay. Centuries ago. I mean, we can assume probably a couple hundred. But what was he doing in all that time is kind of the question. Where the fuck was he? Did he just go straight to Viscan? And he was just chilling in Viscan? I don't know. That seems unlikely. But maybe it is the case. Maybe it is the case. Maybe he was just hanging out in Viscan for all that time. It seems like there's a missing piece to the puzzle there, but I don't think I have the info to piece it together, unfortunately. Whatever happened between... Because the other thing about it, right, is... and this is why it feels to me like I'm missing some info, is because the Glint Shore is over here, right? I mean, let me get the continents up, right? So the Glint Shore is over here in like the Marquette region. And Viscan is somewhere between Taldore and Iman. Probably one of these islands, or even small enough that it doesn't, bear representing on the map. So I guess he could have just gone south. It's not that indirect if he wanted to not be noticed, if he was trying to hide out. But it feels even to me a little bit strange that nothing occurred on this journey that we have found evidence of. I can rationalize it. I can rationalize it as just like, hey, he almost just got murdered by Devosa. He was trying to keep a low profile. He just, swam or flew out, just took it nice and slow and careful. But it just doesn't really seem like Thordak's style. To me, it really feels like something must have happened between Glint Shore. I mean, I guess assuming that he was on the Glint Shore. I'm going to say Glint Shore, even though I know it's just like generally within that area, but I'm going to say Glint Shore. It feels like something happened between Glint Shore and Viscan, because it was several hundred years. They're so geographically distant from each other, even though there's a relatively, open path between them. It just all I guess, again, it just doesn't feel like Thordak's style. Which is a weird thing to say, I suppose. But, yeah, it just doesn't feel like his style. I don't know. I love that answering not the question. I've been here for some time. Yeah. It's a pretty good one. I mean, I like the idea that this enigmatic ruler that no one knows shit about feels appropriately subversive's the wrong word. Appropriately avoidant, or hard to pin down, I guess you might say. No watching today, still sick. No watching today, not sick anymore. I just didn't want to. I didn't think I was. How do I say it? I wanted to get back to the normal. And there's enough going on in the back end that like I could have done the entire episode today and then started 80 on Wednesday. But with everything we also have going on in the background, preparing for Dragon Week, still trying to film Fantasy High, all that stuff, I wanted to just like give it extra breathing room, make sure that it's all like well done. And so I'm just trying to get back to the normal schedule, starting on Wednesday, finishing on Sunday, that sort of thing. So feeling substantially better, but mostly the reason it's not today is trying to get back to that normal schedule. Minimum of 200 years, I guess. Yeah, that's about as close as we can get. Yeah. Can dragons swim? I would assume so. I would also assume so, but I also wouldn't assume that they are particularly proficient swimmers, except for maybe, I think it's black dragons that like live in swamps. I would bet that there are some colors of dragons that are proficient swimmers, and the rest probably can swim. But I think it would be unlikely for them to do a huge, like, long distance trek swimming. But I mean, if you go far enough away from shore, it doesn't take going that far away from shore to get out of line of sight of the shore. So if he wanted to avoid being spotted from Taldore, it wouldn't be hard for him to do so. So it's all very plausible. It just doesn't feel quite right. It just doesn't feel right. Even though it's incredibly plausible. I just don't, something about it doesn't sit right with me. Oh, wait. What the fuck is this? Lorded over Marquette but was repulsed 400 years ago? Episode 40 is when we got the first info on Thord from Allure of Isoran. Whoa, wait. Did I already have the thing that I was seeking out? Episode 40. Oh! Wait, actually, that might help us pin down the age of Marquette. Oh, shit. Discoveries. Okay, wait. Episode 40. I mean, it should be pretty easy for us to find if it is in there. Vox Machina Ep 40. Zoop.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role here, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors play Dungeons and Dragons.
Damn it! It was perfect.
No, I got it right this time. Careful what you wish for.
Let's see, 400. Let me... Zoop. One match. Nope. What the fuck? Okay. Let's see. Marquette. Why is it insisting on going down into... Oh, no. Marquette. There we go. Loaded over half of Marquette for centuries. It's terribly loaded over half of Marquette for centuries. Taking the Scalding Sands as its domain and its denizens as cattle. Interesting. Interesting, because Jamon was a bit more dismissive, yeah? Beginning to grow tired of his meager domains in the Scaldwind Sands. Well, okay, they agree about the fact that it was in the lorded over Marquette. No. Half of Marquette. Let's see. Half of Marquette. I'm just gonna droop. Where'd it go? No. Wait, 100. No, this is the wrong one. Lord over half of Marquette, taking the Scaldwind Sands as its domain. Taking the Scaldwind Sands as its domain. It's interesting that they both agree that he was in the Scaldwind Sands, but Jamon is much more dismissive, which, I mean, makes sense as, like, another dragon. Being like, his fucking territory was dumb and stupid and small. My city was so sick and dope, and his domain sucked and was actually not as big as they say. Like, it may sound big, but that's only because it didn't have, like, a lot in it. So it's actually... It's actually kind of cooler to rule over like a smaller area that's like way more built up. So like I know that it looked like my domain was a little smaller like on the map, but that doesn't really do the situation justice. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. A battle, however, that was unable to win, sent away mortally wounded. It was thought that the dragon had died soon after, having not been seen for many centuries since. Where did I get 400 years? Where did I get 400 years? What? Did I just make that up? If memory serves, the Monster Manual doesn't mention it, but a lot of mythologies say yes, but logic says probably yes, given the dragons were inspired by fossils of dinosaurs and ichthyosaurs. Yeah. An egotistical dragon would probably be really annoyed really over half of anything. Yeah, exactly. That's very funny. Why did I say repulsed 400 years ago? Why did I say that? Okay. We're going to put this in like its own line. I don't know where I got this info. Yeah. 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 But I had it written there. Written after the line above instead of many centuries. Yeah. It was thought the dragon died having not been seen. Has not been seen for many centuries since. Yeah. Huh. It. Let's see. Oh, whoops. It was not seen for many centuries after. Weird. What up, Sarah? Hello. Yeah, I said 400. Why did I say that? So, whispered it survived and... Oh, wait. The rumors of powerful drakes storming the beaches and seas had been whispered for a long time, while ships would be lost at sea. Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay. Was thought to have died. Although rumors continued. Wait, what? Rumors had been whispered for a long time when ships would be lost at sea. It was 15 years ago. It was officially rediscovered. Having been ruling Viscan, began pillaging and shit in the Stormcrest Mountains, raising the Mornset countryside south of the Verdant Expanse and the Stormcrest Mountains. South of the Verdant Expanse and the Stormcrest Mountains. Being pillaging shit south, quote, south of the Verdant, which we have the Verdant Expanse, I believe. Verdant? Yeah, Verdant Expanse. And the began raising the Mornset countryside. In the Mornset countryside, south of the Verdant Expanse in the Stormcrest Mountains. Interesting. That's interesting because my understanding, I'm going to turn off the continents. I thought that the Stormcrest Mountains were like along here, which would mean that like Mornset, I guess, is down here, but that would also mean that the Verdant Expanse is down here, which I didn't picture, but I guess I have no reason to know where the Verdant Expanse is. The only thing I know is that Singorn is in it. I always pictured it like kind of up here, though. Although I guess even if it is up here, that is still south. So, so who knows? Can't stay around long because my internet is down, so no Wi-Fi. No. See you later, Sarah. Have a good one. Just have it fixed by Wednesday, and then we'll be really in it. Let's see. Dragon more massive than the records can compare. Hit Taldore. At this time, I wasn't part of the council. Kima, Drake here, and a handful of other souls who are no longer with us. We traveled to investigate. Port Udal. Oh. By Rodin, a smoldering ruin. To its den in the Stormcrest. Where is By... I've heard By Rodin before. By Rodin. Okay, let's see if I can find it. I mean, it'll come up if it's there. By Rodin. Do we have anything else? Nothing. I could swear I recognize By Rodin. Maybe no capital? Maybe no capital. Oh, it's forced capital. Interesting. Port Udal. Many lives were lost. Arcane practitioners, their work to agree together. They devised a trap. At the sacrifice of many. Oh, we have the names of her companions? I didn't remember that. Okay, wait. Allura. Also, let's edit that real quick. Used to be a venture and several others. I need to convert all of them over into the new editor because it is actually easier to edit with. Let's see. Several others. These others are named Cirrus, Dola, and Gen. These others are, I'm going to say, seemingly named. I don't know why she would be talking about rando other people, but it's possible. You very likely recognize the name? Really? By Rodin. I really do recognize it. I must have just not taken a note about it. Because I do recognize the name By Rodin. I'm confirming when certain info came out before sharing with you, but I'm 99% sure you should have at least some info on By Rodin, right? Okay. That's good to know that I'm not going crazy. I mean, I know that the search function isn't perfect. There's no way I just like have the location, right? I'm assuming it's a settlement. No article for it. Region maybe? States? No. I'll try searching it in Obsidian just in case. But I think it is unlikely. Let's see. By Rodin. No. I must not have taken a note about it. If I or maybe I misspelled it. I'm just gonna try to type it in like not necessarily the correct spelling and see if I can get anything out of that. No. By Rodin. Weird. Yeah, I guess feel free to give me like an episode number or something if you got it, but weird. Okay. She looks around for naught. Now it seems somebody's broken our invocations. We bound his essence to the fountains of creation. Sure. This couldn't be. I'm so sorry. No, my job is to guard these realms. But to bind him, we create an artifact called a soul anchor. Yup. Was held in the plane of fire by a soul anchor. Yup. which was crafted from the salvaged heart crystal of a primordial fire titan. The Cinder King could not leave. I don't know how he managed to escape. The crystal is immense. Crystallized ruby. Far beyond your capability. Yeah. Depends on where he made his theory through. It was discussed that he had been killed during the demonic invasion of the city or deserted. Wait, what? What do you know of General Krieg? He's been gone for some time. Okay, that's it. Chromatics are selfishes. Where the fuck did I get 400 years? Damn it. I feel like I must have gotten it from a different episode and I just didn't note that. Cause yeah, the 400 just keeps bringing me down to some comment down here. Let's go with years maybe. Oh, it's just, oh no, that's not good. That's not it. Let's see. Okay. I know not the male too, but Vorgal seems to be known to wander the waste. Some believe its offspring may have wandered further. Sky Sunder was one of its children. 15 years. 15 years. The only guardians that Thordak would know of would be the ones that sent him away to that plane 15 years ago. Oh! So he was locked up 15 years ago. I remember us debating this. Wait. Was sealed, was held in the plane of fire. Let's see. By the Arcana Panasophical 15 years ago. 15 years ago. So they locked him up the same year that he was discovered. No. What's up, Delphi? Hello. What up? Yeah, damn. I don't know where I got that info. I'm going to trust my notes. I almost always indicate when I'm just guesstimating, or, I really don't see myself having just thrown out 400 years. Just on a whim, especially because it says he was repulsed 400 years ago. Yeah, I really don't see myself having just thrown that out william-nillium. Let me just try looking at the episodes around it. Maybe the thing I'm wrong about is this episode 40 number. Repulsed. Ah!
Oh, yeah. I'm tapped out too.
It's 41.
Me too.
Lady Allura, what do you know of Marquette?
Marquette.
You said that they successfully repulsed him.
400 years ago, yes, when he was younger.
Okay. So it was separate. Centuries after Allura later clarifies 400 years. Okay. Got it. Cool. Which means that we can actually estimate the age of Marquette, interestingly enough. Because if that was 400, and he says that Anki was, 100 to 150, yeah, this was founded, we'll be generous. We'll add on another 50-year buffer maybe on either side. So what do we say? That's 500 to 550. So we'll go 450 to to 600 years ago. Yeah. Wait. Let's go to advanced edit. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Well, whatever. Founding date. Look at that. 400. We'll go 450 to 600. I don't think it was sooner. I think it was probably later, if anything. 450 to 600 years ago. Which I do, one of the very few spoilers I've ever purposefully gotten from the community is the current year for this sort of thing. Specifically to like be able to make these calculations and not have it have to be, years ago. I can like put out an actual date. So 811. So that would have been, somewhere between 211. So 211 at the earliest. Between 211 PD, and was at 100, 311 PD. So 250-ish. Yeah. Which episode are we up to? 79. Yeah. I can find the info I wanted to share was shared on Twitter in 2016, which is before the episode you're on now. I think it was said on stream, but I can't 100%. Yeah. If it was tweeted, that's fine. If it was tweeted before the episode I'm on now, that's totally cool. It says it was also revealed here. Desperate Measures 238. Lieutenant Colonel Panic. Byrodin. Byrodin is the town the twins grew up in with their mom. Okay. That makes sense. That's interesting that I don't have a note of that. That's very interesting that I don't have a note of that. Weird. This is a city. This is a large city. Yeah, weird. Okay. I'm just going to note it in their character bio. Vex. I didn't say it anywhere in here, did I? Nope. I only have that stuff. Last name Visar, current Raven Queen champion. Yeah, I just don't have it anywhere in there. Weird. Okay. So we're going to edit that. I don't know if there's a hometown thing or like a city of origin or some shit like that. Origins, family, current state, current status, current location, current residence, birth, place of birth. That's not quite right. I'm just going to do this. Grew up with mother in Byrodin. I'm going to copy that into Vex's as well. I probably won't need a whole thing for it, but just having that little note in there is good. Yeah, because I knew that I recognized it. I just could not, for the life of me, get where it was. Interesting. Okay, we're learning things. It was revealed in Desperate Measures. Interesting. I think it was said on stream, do you want it given that? What probably happened is they mentioned it, and then later the twins were like, oh my gosh, that's where we're from. Which also, very much makes sense.
I was keyless.
Very much makes sense why the twins are like pretty sure that that Thordak is the one that killed their mom. Yeah.
My people, our job is to guard these realms.
Arcane practice.
Okay. The lizard folk found him. Yeah, okay. To find this creature destroying everything surrounding the glade pools. Port Udall by road in a smoldering ruin, and we had gathered a small army of mercenaries and hunted it into the den in the Storm Crest. Interesting. Also, the Glade pools. I actually don't know that I recognize that, but it reminds me of something in the description for Kymel. Or no, not Kymel. Singorn, not Kymel. Shitloads of trees from the verdant expanse. You see a large sealed gate, etc., etc. They're powerful. Yeah, the center of Singorn has a large, foggy blue lake. Sounds like a glade pool to me. I might note that really quick. Just in here, just in the Singorn article. Let's see. The center of Singorn, large, foggy blue lake. May or may not be relevant, but in episode 40, where's that? Around 238:24. 238:24. Matt mentions the Glade pools. Glade pools, yeah. I mentioned the Glade pools. Not sure if these are related to the lake. Yeah, not sure if these are related to the lake or the verdant expanse, but the expanse got brought up in generally the same area, although it was implied to be north. So it's possible. You know what I'm thinking now that I remember that it's the lake? I wonder if this is the lake in the center of Singorn. That's impossible. That's way too big. But maybe these are the Glade pools? So maybe the Storm Crest are more over here, and then the Verdant Expanse is south of Iman? That is not at all how I pictured it. But these look a little Glade Pool-esque to my eye. And it tracks to me that there would maybe be like some manner of Port Udall down here, maybe probably across from Iman. Although, actually, wait, no. I think Iman's up here. Isn't it? Oh, I don't know. I don't exactly know. But I think actually Iman's closer to up there, which would then kind of make me think that Port Udall's either like there or there, maybe still there. And these feel very Glade Pool to me. Interesting. Which then, if like the Verdant Expanse is all down here and is maybe like kind of horizontal with the Stormcrest. I was picturing the Stormcrest going the entire width of the continent. That was an assumption on my part. So maybe it's more like Stormcrest, Verdant Expanse, probably like Singorn right there-ish, and then maybe like Byrodin's down here, maybe like Port Udall's over there, or Port Udall there, Byrodin there, something along those lines. Interesting. What's up, Joshua? Something I didn't notice until someone pointed out to me is that Byrodin is literally just the words "by the road" smushed together. That is true, and I like that a lot. That had to be purposeful, right? That's a cool etymology. I like that. I like that. Yeah. I like that etymological theory. I guess unless it was confirmed. Either way, it's cool. I like that. I wonder if the CR map is supposed to be literal or more figurative, like old maps. If it's more figurative, an important lake might take up more space than it literally does. True, that is true. Yeah, I mean we can't be too sure. All this entire area is giving me very glade pool. You know, when I hear something like glade pools, I'm thinking like Great Lakes sort of situation. And this entire kind of watery area feels Great Lakes, you know. So that could be the Singorn Lake. One of these could be the Singorn Lake. Tough to tell. Yeah. But you're totally right, Daniel. Totally right. I love Dread. Ooh, cool. Hey, I heard good things about it, and I'm definitely interested. Like I said, I think I want to pick it up to try and like run a one shot or something. Looks like Mega's map is a rough outline of the map from the campaign setting book. Yes, yeah. Discord member traced it for me, which is great. I love having this outline because now it is like up to me to like fill in the gaps on where I think things are. So like I have, you know, my continents. No idea what all this fucking shit is. At first I thought like my initial thought was like, oh, it's maybe these are like the islands of Draconia. But then I'm like, wait a minute, that's totally wrong. Draconia was in Wildmount, somewhere, you know, down in here. So I got no clue what this fucking shit is. And it's also, I think it's interesting that like Marquette and Othanzia are so cut off, which is interesting and like theoretically the slightest bit of a spoiler, in that I can feel relatively confident that the actual continents of Othanzia and Marquette are probably not going to play a huge role, at least in the way that Taldore and Wildmount are. However, I could kind of already assume that based on the fact that these both got setting books. These both got setting books. You're not seeing Marquette or Othanzia in a setting book. So, you know, slightest bit of a spoiler, but like one that I kind of already had in my mind. And, you know, it's nice to be able to focus on just these two prominently. Yeah, I love those islands with spoilers. I'll say no more. Fair enough. Space Australia. Woo! Let's see. Singorn. Okay, Thordak. So there's the map. There's the homepage. Put the homepage over here. Okay, Thordak. God, I'm getting so much less done. Oh my God, it's already been an hour. Where does the time go? What up? Okay, let's just keep going. I'm just gonna try to get through the article now. Let's see. What happened? Where did it go? All right, reload. I don't know what just happened to that. Let's see. Okay, lorded over half of the market. Okay, I want to make this a header. Alias is the Cinder King. There absolutely has to be a prompt for an alias. I know that. Nickname alias. Boop. There we go. Let's see. Okay. What else? There we go. Main red dragon in the Cormac Conclave. Lord over half was thought to have died. 15 years ago, was officially rediscovered. Mornset countryside. South of the Verdant Expanse and the Stormcrest Mountains. So even this description kind of implies the Verdant Expanse and the Stormcrest Mountains to be like kind of, you know, on a similar, what is latitude and longitude? The sideways one. a similar latitude or longitude to each other. Whatever the sideways one is. Allure of Isoran and Drake Thunderbrand, bore overpowered by Thordak, was sealed in the elemental plane of fire by the Arcana Panasophical 15 years ago. Plane by a soul anchor. I will note this soul no, not that soul. Soul anchor was crafted from the remains, I believe. Primordial Fire Titan. There we go. Was crafted from the salvaged heart crystal of a primordial fire titan. A primordial fire titan. From the salvaged remains. Wait. No, the salvaged heart crystal of a primordial fire titan. Not the. So that's good for me to know. Okay. Having the outline of the map was such a good move. Don't have to focus on the big picture aesthetics of continent shape, and the audience can vaguely recognize what is what. Exactly. I think it was a really, really good idea. I don't remember who suggested it. It might have been the Discord member that actually ended up tracing it. I think that was Strawberry. I can't remember. I asked if they wanted me to credit them on the image, but I don't think they responded. Maybe I'll reach out again. But yeah, it's really, really nice. The prompty things at the bottom of the articles are probably the single best part of World Anvil. Not as flashy as some of the other features, but very useful. Yes, it was the thing that originally got me into World Anvil, and it is one of the things that keeps me into World Anvil. I need to start moving a lot of this stuff into the prompts because they provide such a natural organization that is so useful. But also, like, they have an organizational aspect to them, but they also are so nice for like jumpstarting creativity. So nice. So yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. I love it. Let's see. I traced it. No need to credit. And I think the idea of the outline was yours. Oh, there you go. Oh, you did trace it. Well, there you go. Well, there will at least be credit in this stream. So there we go. But yeah, it's great. And I'm excited to like progressively fill it out more and more and more. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Well, fuck it. I guess why not? Let's edit the map. Why not? Right? Let's toss down some shit. All right. Now this I will say, anything that I put on this map, unlike some of the other things, I'm probably not going to be able to be like, this is a theory. But all of these are going to be theories. Star. Let's see. We're going to go with a little bit of a gold star for Iman. Yep. And we're just going to make that Iman. And then we're going to put it into a new marker group, which I need to create first. And it is related to the location of Iman. Boop. Related organization? I guess. Well, I have the country of Taldore. Oh, wait. No, not Tal. Taldore. Related article. Nope. Pin privacy. Good. Subscriber groups. Good. Draggable pin. I'm going to make most of them draggable. Specifically because I may or may not move where this shit's at. Let's see. Marker groups. We're going to do... What am I going to call this? Probably settlements. I think settlements is a good one. And do I make it initially visible? I think so. I'm gonna do that. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Boop. And let's edit that and throw it in said new marker group. Where is that? Oh, right. Settlements. Boop. There we go. Okay. So I'm pretty sure Amon's like right around there. It's somewhere along this left coastline. Is what I know. And like that just looks, if I had to imagine where a capital city, a seaside capital city might be, it's either going to be on this big jutting out peninsula, or it's going to be on the interior of this kind of bay esque structure. But I don't think it's this far south. So it's like if I'm in world building and choosing where to put the capital, it's either out here or in there, and I don't think it's there. So I'm going to put it there for now. Let's see. And then I know that I think we don't need star. Yeah, we'll just keep it red. That's fine. We'll just keep it normal. I think Kymel is somewhere in here. Doop. And related location, Kymel. We'll just related organization. I guess I could relate it to Taldore, although I guess I don't know enough detail. I'm gonna keep it simple for now. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. And then that, and we know that West Run is like somewhere in that general area. I was searching for a pin type, not putting in the actual title. I think West Run has 2 U's. Is that correct? West Run. Yeah. I hope it's correct. Settlements. Boop. And wait, no. Western. And cool. Where do I set the drag? Oh, I set dragability on the last page. Finish and create. So, I mean, I can always drag it on this screen, but I also want to be able to drag it if I'm looking at like the viewable version, which that's the only difference between whether or not it's draggable or not. It's always draggable to the person that creates it. But it just depends on whether or not it's draggable on the main screen. Oh no, where do I? Oh, advanced options probably. There we go. Draggable. There we go. Save. Hopefully randos can't drag it. Now that I think about it. Oh well, we'll see. If it's a problem, I'll deal with it then. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Kymel, my theory is that like West Run is like there-ish, and that Kymel is like here-ish. And now here's a complication. I picture in my brain if I wasn't looking at this outline and I was like, and I drew out like the vague blob of Taldore, I would be like, Whitestone's right here. I'd be like, Whitestone is right in the middle of this bay. Clearly not. So Whitestone is probably more over here, because I know that they were going to build the bridge. A lot of this area, because I'm assuming that this is... I'm assuming it's a Mercator projection. I don't have any reason to think it's not. And that seems the most common. So all of this is looking bigger than it actually is, which means that these gaps look wider on the map than they actually are, which means that this is probably where they were looking to build the bridge, because like, right, that gap looks the same size as like that lake, but relatively they are not. Although there's really just not a lot to the north. So actually the projection distortion might not play a huge role. Although we are also looking at a subset of the world. So we could just be like basically on a cropped in version of the projection. So it still might be distorted. Who knows? Tough to say. Let's see. Anyways, all that said, my intuition of where Whitestone is in the middle of like the Whitestone Mountains. So my intuition would then say that Whitestone would need to be surrounded by a decent chunk of land, but it still makes sense that they would be the ones interfacing with Wildmount over a bridge right there, because I don't think much else is like up here. They might also be like closer to there. We'll go right there. Whitestone. Zoop. And the location, Whitestone. Boop. Public. Draggable. Finish. Cool. Now, should that be a red or should that be a special marker? It should probably be a special marker. But I'm not worrying about that too much. Also, that's a long distance from Westrun to Whitestone. Maybe like a little bit smudging up there. Yeah, maybe more like that. And then I know that the Frostweald is generally around here, because it's south of Westrun. So I'm gonna guess Frostweald is like this. Uh-oh, this feels like we are getting into highly speculative territory. But, you know, that's fine. Let's see. Okay. Frostweald is Weald, W-E-A. Frostweald. Regions. Geographic regions. Frostweald. It is cool. Also, I know that I'm getting majorly distracted. I will have to do a new marker group for like geographic regions. Relay location though. Frostweald. What? What do you mean? Oh, I guess it's not technically a location. Or did I click on map? No, okay. It's not technically a location, but that's fine. We can just do related article. Frostweald. There we go. Tags, position weight. Oh, I was about to say, why isn't it trackable? I know why it's not trackable. Marker groups. New one. Geographic regions. I kind of like that one being visible during the initial stage, as opposed to the whole continent view, like the whole continental view. Because the whole continental view is like nice, but I don't really want to see it all the time. It's more of like a sudden clarity thing. Marker group. There we go. Geographic regions. Save. Nice. I think this is the most northern hemisphere with a bit of the southern, and I'm assuming it's either equitangular. Right. God. Equitangular. God, talk about a word that you've only seen written and never had to say before. Because I've definitely seen equitangular, but I've never had to say it out loud. And then Mercator. Yeah. So I think this split is reasonable. Okay. So I think that's like Frostweald-ish. And then my guess... Ooh, major guessing, though. Major guessing time here. But my guess is that the Stormcrest arc... like this? Do I look confident? I don't know why, but my world builder nose feels like this is like an isolated bit of not mountain. I don't know why my world builder nose smells that, but that's what my world builder nose smells. So I'm gonna make this gray, and then doop, and then shoop. All right, yeah, that's mountains. And I feel like this is like a mountain lake, like Switzerland-esque. Zoop. And this is Storm Crest Mountains. And like I said, I know I got distracted, but, you know, we're here. Related map. Storm. Oh, wait, that pulls it up? Wait, why do Stormcrest mountains get pulled up for location, but Frostweald didn't? Stormcrest mountains. Where's Frostweald? Did I make them in the wrong template? A mountain range. Oh, I might have made this in the wrong template. It's a generic article because I made it in the wrong template. Well, I'll fix that later. All right. It's not too big of an issue. Okay, Stormcrest. Related article, related history. I do also know that Sphinx Mountain and the Arashari are in here, but I don't know exactly where. I'm mostly just looking at the things that I think might have some relevance to the upcoming stream. Also, did I put this in the right marker group? I don't think I did. I did. What's going on with me? I would guess it's pronounced equirectangular. Oh, you know, that's fair. That's very fair. Equirectangular, yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, if it's a mountain or not, kind of depends on the continental shelf placement and ocean floor drop off. Yes. You mean like here? This like little area? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know what we're talking about. Maybe, I guess. I'm how do I say it? I'm picturing this kind of like the Baja Peninsula compared to like what's that mountain range called in southwest? San Andreas? No. Southeast America mountains. San Andreas? No, not the. Oh wait, because I said southeast again. Damn it. Southwest. Okay, these are all very specific. I'm looking for just like the chain because I know it's like the continuation of the Rockies. No, mountain range name. Chihuahuan, the Black Range, Oregon. Sandy and Sacramento, Magdalene, the Sierra Nevada. That's what I was trying to think of. Sierra Nevada. I feel like the situation is basically like that. So like the Sierra Nevada kind of stretch I'm basically picturing this as if the Sierra Nevada stretched all the way. Oh, wait. No, the Sierra Nevada are not related to the Rockies. I'm totally incorrect. Yeah, the Sonoran Desert separates them. I'm kind of picturing if the Rockies cut off Baja, the Baja Peninsula from the rest of Mexico, which also might just be how it is. I actually don't know. Google Maps. This isn't terrain view. Terrain. Okay. Yeah. So this is all kind of mountainy, right? Okay, and then yeah, it does kind of extend kind of down into here. So yeah, I'm basically picturing that little segment kind of, well, actually Baja's pretty mountainy. I'm kind of picturing it more like this little segment as if Baja didn't exist. I think I've hit on this for far too long. I think I need to move on. It does not matter. Because it's also like a vibes-based pure guess. Yeah, the super doesn't matter. Mauna Kea is 10,210 meters from base to peak. Everest is okay. You're okay. We're talking about what is the actual height of a mountain from the okay. I'll put this out right now. I measure mountain elevation from sea level. From sea level. Because, yes, there are tons of tall mountains that are very, very tall if you consider their portions that are underwater. But I think that is a fun fact, but is in tension with how we as humans generally experience mountains. So I would either measure it from sea level, or I can I can accept I think it's more complicated, but a like measurement from nearest flat plane. Nearest like generally considered flat plane. So if you're measuring Gat shadow, it might make sense to measure that from base to peak and not consider sea level. But if it's a mountain near sea, in my book, it gets measured from sea level. If you, this may be an easier way to put it. If the base is above sea level, it's base to peak. If the base is not above sea level, it's sea level to peak. Because that is how we as humans experience mountains. So that is a fun fact, though. I do like that fact. What's your favorite type of map projection? I have a guess. I mean, the most like, I don't even know if you would necessarily call it a projection technically. No, it's not a projection. It's not a projection. But I really like south up maps. But that's not a projection. Ooh. I'm trying to think. I really Man, it's tough because there's just I like and dislike things about so many map projections. I love I think it's called like the polar projection. I don't know the names of a lot of them as part of the issue. I think it's like polar map projection. It probably has a different name. Azimuthal equidistant projection. Yeah. I like an azimuthal projection, but one of the problems with the azimuthal is it even further privileges the global north, which is not great. But I like both sides of the polar projection. I also really like I think that like I generally like the cutout one that's not Mercator. I can't remember what it's called. Map projections. Where is it? Geode Homocene. What was that? Homolocene. I like this one. Because I speaking of how humans experience the globe, I think that the what is it? No, good, not geode, good. Homocene actually I think hits on the separation between continents and like speaks to the more visceral reality of the oceans compared to Mercator. Because like the Mercator projection makes the Atlantic look so small and makes the Pacific look not big enough. But the good Homocene kinda, I think, gets more at the reality of these oceans. Like I like this big ass space that does not hit on the reality of the Atlantic, the Atlantic's size, but the feel of separation between like NA and EU. So I like that. I like that part of it. I'm trying to think. I know there's some weird and wacky ones that I would probably say I like if I was presented with them. Are there any other weird ones? North Pole orthographic, South Pole. I love the South Pole one. I like any map that shows the South Pole as a connected landmass. Purely because it's something that we don't see on the vast majority of maps for good reason. There's not like a huge benefit to like thinking about the South Pole very much. Cause it is really not important to daily life. But I do like a South Pole map. Cause I think if you just show that photo, Jupiter-doo-ba-doo. Like if you just show like this to a random person and you're like, what continent is that? I think they would say some fantasy continent. And then if you're like, no, it's like a world continent, I think people are like more likely to say like Pangea than Antarctica. So I like a pole. I like the poles. I like the poles a lot. But anyways, map projections are so interesting. I'm honestly not as into them as you might guess from the rest of my interest in maps. I'm not as into projections. Especially because I'm not generally as interested in large scale maps where the projections really matter a lot more. So like world maps, continental maps, large regional maps. I'm not generally as into those maps as I am into more like local level maps. So like state, province, that level where the projections matter a lot less. Yeah. Anyways. Sometimes the surrounding areas are above sea level. It also feels weird. Yeah. So since it's D&D, is it measured from the Underdark? Well, the Underdark is so strange to me, man. I said it in Baldur's Gate. I really liked the Myconids in Baldur's Gate 3, but the Underdark is just not my, how do I say it? I find it difficult to or not difficult, but the Underdark is one of those world building things that doesn't satisfyingly pass my sniff test. I just feel wrong about it. Like the whole thing just feels very off to me. And like so many world building things, if you think about them too long, they don't make sense. So I don't even want to categorize it like that, because those sorts of world building things are littered throughout fantasy. But the Underdark is in a separate category of I don't know. It just doesn't, I'm just meh on it. As generally, I don't have a good way to even express why I'm not into it. compared to like other like geographic world building things like that. But I'm just really not. And maybe I should think more and be able to communicate this more specifically. But yeah, not into it. Not into it. I don't know. And I think it's just because it so fundamentally changes like traversal and connectivity and like threat management. I don't know. It's maybe this is the thing. The Underdark, at least in my understanding of it, is so widespread and so ubiquitous while simultaneously being so low key and hidden and yeah. It's almost like the mists in Mistborn, but the mists, like the reason that they are so widespread but also low key is like a central piece of the plot in that book. Whereas the Underdark does not get that same like importance within the plot. It is just there. It gets an amount of importance as things are located within it or things come from it or people dive into it. But its formation and structure and effect on the overworld is so ubiquitous and simultaneously so ignored. And I think that's like, and then separately from that, totally separately, I don't really fuck with caves. I don't really fuck with caves. I think as a large scale setting, I think they get boring really quick. I think they're like they're a nice like little quick diversion. But the darkness and the claustrophobia is like good for instilling a particular tone for a short period of time. But like long term, it is just like suffocating in not a way that I personally enjoy, or find like satisfying or creativity promoting. I don't really fuck with the Underdark. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Feeling good Holocene at the moment. My guess would have been the Fuller Dymaxion. Oh, let's see the Fuller Dymaxion. Wait. Fuller Dymaxion projection. Let me see. Ooh. I mean, this one is cool. This one is cool because, as I just mentioned, I'm a fan of any map that like broadly attempts to not cut up chunks of land and like present lands as, or present continents or large land masses as contiguous areas. Wait, what part? What is that? Is that Oh, that's Madagascar. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So I do like that. I really, really like this. I think the problem that I sort of, well, actually, do I feel that way? I was about to express a problem that I have, but I don't even know if I do have that same problem or have that problem. Man, I also really do like, I don't know that I'm that familiar with this projection. I definitely recognize it vaguely, but I don't know that I've like taken the time to like really look at it. But I like how connected it makes Asia, Europe, Africa feel. I feel like Mercator, and a lot of projections, honestly, make them feel very separated. And like you still kind of have Africa, seemingly separated. But I think this like really hits at the closeness and the connection, especially of like Europe and Asia. and the closeness of Africa and Asia. Or sorry, not Africa, Australia. I hear that all the time from American friends that I talk to, because I occasionally talk to my friends about like time zone stuff with streaming, and I talk about hitting like doing streams for like later time zones, and they're like, oh, like for like people in Hawaii. And I'm like, people in Hawaii, but like also like people in like Asia, Australia, whatever. And they're like, oh, like you have like they get, how do I say it? They are always vaguely surprised at the proximity of Australia to Asia. And it's and also the where New Zealand is. That's a really consistent one, actually. Which this projection is very funny because it really highlights where New Zealand is. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting, very very interesting. It's my favorite not only because it's better at showing true sizes, but it also shows all the continents together. Plus, it's a D20. Continents together, yeah. True sizes I like. And is like the biggest problem with the Mercator. But it's not like always my biggest thing, but I really like the connectivity of it. Yeah. Actually just flip you upside down and a scary percentage say someplace like Russia. Yeah. I mean, true. Very true, Daniel. That's why I like south up maps. South up maps, I mean, you can do like any projection really, but the traditional south up map is like Mercator, but south up. I really want to get one to like hang on the wall. Fucking like a nice big map is a little pricey. Especially just I'm not a big decorations guy, so it's probably not actually that pricey, but I have such a high bar for price when it comes to decorations. But I really want to get a south up map. Just because like it forces you it forces a it just forces a different perspective, which I think is really cool from like what we are traditionally used to. And I really like that. Like US looks fucking tiny and I love that. And like Australia, like my eye is drawn so much more to Australia. And I think that like China's relationship to everything feels, I don't even know how to explain it, but just very different on a South Up map. Like its position within, like geographically within Asia, just for some reason, which maybe this is like literal geography. It's cut off by the Himalayas from a lot of other countries in the region. But China always feels very separate on a North Up map. I don't think about its connection to the Russian Federation. I don't think about its connection to India. I do think about its connectivity to Japan, but I don't think about like, the Hong Kong side of things, Malaysia, Philippines. Like the South China Sea is like a vague place in my map or in my mental map. And I think it's because it's below China in the North Up map. So it like gets like a lower, priority. It gets like a lower ranking of like memory in my head. I never remember like if you asked me, if you took all of the things off of this map, I would guess that the South China Sea is to the left of the Philippines on this map if I was not looking at it right now. Which doesn't make sense, but that's just like my intuition. So yeah, it's like that doesn't make sense with any of the other facts that I know about that location, like where Hong Kong is and like all of this. But that's just like, I don't know. That's the benefit. That's the thing that I like about a South Up map is it makes you see areas that you may have glossed over or just not like fully, taken into account. Also, like the closeness of Alaska and Russia is something that, like, again, I literally know, but it makes it look so much more prominent, which is very cool. Yeah, I like a South Up map. I like a South Up map. Yeah. South China Sea is like below South of China. I mean, it is. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's if I'm being real, like, now that I'm not even looking at the South Up map, I actually picture the South China Sea where the East China Sea is. And frankly, I don't picture the East China Sea. I literally know that it exists, but when I think of like East China Sea, I'm like, is that like northeast, like between China and Hokkaido? And then like the south is below that one? And so there are two seas between China and Japan? That doesn't make sense. But but yeah, I don't know. It's those sorts of things that are what make me really like are what make me really like that. Wait, why is this not right? Okay, there we go. Sorry, my stream deck was weird. Yeah. A map tattoo with a non-Mercator, non-north up projection would not get across an insane commitment to the bit, but also fuck with people's heads. That would be sick, dude. South up, non-Mercator. Yeah. Or I guess not even necessarily south up, but yeah, just non-north up. That'd be sick. You would also want it to be, it would either have to be, what would you want it to be? You wouldn't want it to be west up either. So yeah, you would want it to be either east or south up. Non-Mercator. That'd be sick. That'd be so sick. Anyways, goddamn, there's been a longer stream than I pictured. I'm probably just gonna work on Thordak off screen. It's been fun chatting. I've had more fun, and that was, at the base of it, that was the majority of. What the fuck? My mic just like turned itself off. But yeah, that was the majority of the reason I wanted to stream today, was just to say hi, talk to people, remind them that I'm not deceased. I'm here. And we're going to have cries on Wednesday. Yeah, I'll work on the critical role theory more. Probably not too much, though. Got lots of Dragon Week stuff. But yeah, I'm not planning on getting a word map tattoo, but it would be a nice party trick. It would be at that. You got muted as soon as I had something. Thought it was me. Yeah. Oh man. Anywho. I'm excited. I'm psyched for Wednesday. I'm trying not to put too much, like, I don't want to say pressure, but I'm trying not to put too much on it. Too much expectation. Although I will say, I think some amount of expectation is appropriate, given how extended the Chroma Conclave has been, and this has sort of been what it's been building up to the whole time. But I'm trying to keep my expectations there. You know what I'm saying? Not build it up even more because of cries, right? I'm trying to have the inflated expectations of a normal CR watcher, not someone who's been theorizing about this for a year. Which is, trying to keep it nice and tamped down. Also trying not to have huge expectations of the map. I do have some expectations of the map, I'll say that. Because especially as a combat that is a combat, I can't picture a non-combat way that this ends. And you have known, as Matt, that this was coming for so long. that I do expect. I have some expectations out of what this map will look like. Frankly, this is probably the most expectations I've had for a map well, no, not even. I was going to say outside of the Ziggurat. I had some expectations out of like the map where they would fight the Briarwoods, but I didn't even really know that much about it for that long leading up to it. I've known it was going to be in Amon in like a volcanic version of the Cloud Top District for a little bit now. So I definitely have some expectations around what that, not even necessarily what it will look like. Like, I don't have any particular expectations around, like, there needs to be lava channels here and here. You know, I don't, nothing like that. But just like, I'm expecting a good map because he's had lots of time to plan it. Now, I could also see a map that involves things or requires things that Vox Machina may not know about. I could see that because they did not really do any sort of scouting of Iman. They did not really do any sort of, information gathering other than what they happened to hear from Braum and Assume. Well, Raishan as Assume. That was really the only information gathering they did about Thordak's lair. It's not like they scryed, right? So I could see there being aspects to the map that go, maybe we'll say underutilized, but I would still want them to be apparent. And like the fact that Vox doesn't know what to do or doesn't know what they are or are unable to utilize them because of a lack of knowledge, I think should be present. Or prescient? I don't know. Should be clear. Those are the sorts of expectations that I have going into it. Is like the map has stuff going on. And it is clear that the map has stuff going on, regardless of how interactable that stuff is for Vox specifically. Because they have relatively little information. So I think it would be fair for there to be things that they just can't interact with. But that would need to be clear. Megan is alive. Yeah, this was all fucking... That'd be crazy. This is all pre-recorded. This is just a video. This is an MP4. This is a VOD. I'm not here right now. 2 weeks of built-up hype are different than binge-watching it. Also true. I've had the sort of CR-esque experience of getting to wait a little bit for it. Yeah, true. Have we gotten past the intro yet? It's not a real episode today. Unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to if it lives up to your expectations or not. I am too. I'm excited for it. That was the other thing I wanted to check out today. I'll do it off stream. I wanted to play a little bit more with the whiteboarding to see if there's a better way to analyze the map on the fly. Because I've not been overly satisfied with any of my map analysis tools in terms of displaying them on stream. Off stream, it's always easier because I don't have to worry about like fitting it on an OBS layout. But yeah, I don't know. But I might play around with that a little bit because I cannot picture a world where I'm not sitting there and analyzing it. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you all then. Thank you for joining. Thank you for checking in. And I'm excited for Wednesday. I'm excited. And I'll see you all then. And I hate ending streams. And I don't know what to say ever. But I'll see you on Wednesday.